Hello and welcome to the first practical session of HTML. In this lesson, we will create a simple HTML web page. To do this, open Notepad, which is already open for me. But before writing any code, I want to mention one thing that HTML is not case sensitive. That means we can write the code in small letter, block letter, or combining of both. To start with, first is the HTML tag, which is necessary to create any HTML web page. Then I want to give the page a title. For that, head element we have to use. So head opening tag, and to give title, title tag. Under that, I am giving page title, which will show in the title bar of the web page. As all these are container element, so we have to close all the tag. So first close the title tag, then close head tag, then finally close the HTML tag. Now save the file. Choose your location where you want to save the file. I am saving in a folder named HTML, which is under desktop of my PC. Remember one thing, to give the .html extension while saving. To do that, first select Save as Type as all files. Then in file name field, give the name as per your choice with .html or .htm extension. Then save it. Now go to the file location where you save it and open the file. Here you can see the title which we give in the notepad file as title element. Now I am removing the title element from the notepad file and save it, and go to the browser and refresh the page. You will find the title is missing as we remove it from the notepad file. I am putting back the title as it was previously and save it. Have you noticed that our web page is not displaying any content in our web page? It is because we have not mentioned any body element in our web page. In Notepad, we are going to declare a body element just before the closing of HTML tag and put some text under body element and check whether any difference is there or not. Declare body element with body opening and closing tag, and within that put any text you want to display and save it, and then replace the web page. And there we go, our HTML web page is having some body. We have covered lesson 1 till now, but we will do some more testing. Suppose you have closed your notepad file and you want to modify the HTML file. How to do that? For that, right click on the HTML file and select Open With, then select Notepad. If Notepad option is not reflecting there, then select Choose another app, and from that select Notepad and then OK. One more testing we are going to do. For that, I am going to create a plain notepad file with .txt extension. Then open that file and put some text over there and save that file and close that file. Now change that extension from .txt to .htm or .html. After that, open that HTML file. It is showing the text in the HTML web page, though we have not declared any HTML or body element. Question on your mind is how? Just do one thing. Right click on the body section of the HTML page and select Inspect Element. As you can see, HTML body element will automatically given because we saved that file with .html extension, and .html extension goes with HTML web page only. But this is not a proper way. This is just for knowledge purpose only. We can come into a conclusion that every HTML web page has basic 3 elements that is required, which is described in lesson 1 in depth. Now I am opening Google homepage and do inspect element and see the HTML head and body element is there, and title given as Google, which is reflecting in the title bar. So these three elements forms the basic structure of a web page. If you have any doubt, comment it. I will try my best to clarify your doubts. That's all from this practical lesson. Hope you enjoy this video. Please like, comment and share it, and subscribe this channel. See you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome to the second practical session of HTML. If you are new to this channel or not subscribed yet, subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get update on the new courses. As we have discussed in lesson 2 about attributes, we'll start with declaring attributes. If you directly jump into this practical session, then it is recommended to watch the lesson 2. Link is provided in the description below. First, we will change the background with yellow color of our web page. For that, we have to set an attribute named bgcolor. To set the attribute, we have to declare the attribute within body opening tag. As it had been told several times that whenever you change anything in Notepad file, first save it. Otherwise, it will not reflect the change in the browser. Next, we want to move the selected text to the next line, so we use br tag. If you hit enter in your Notepad file and refresh the browser after saving, you will find text is not moving to the next line. Only after giving br tag it is possible. We want to make the first line text bold, that is HTML. So we keep the HTML within B element. If we forget to close the B tag, then all the text will become bold, as you can see in the browser. So keep in mind to close the B tag. In the same way, we are keeping the hypertext markup language portion italic and describe the structure of a web page portion underlined. Save the file and refresh the browser and check that the portion we keep italic and underline is reflecting in the browser. Next is font element. We are going to play with the first sentence with font element. So we are placing the text within font element and separating the second sentence to another line with br tag. Now define font attribute within opening font tag. First is size, and here we want to set the size with the value 4, which can be defined from 1 to 7 as per your requirement. Have a look in the browser that our font size is increased as the default value is 3 and our value is 4. Color attribute is used to change the color of the text. This time we are going to take the hexadecimal value rather than name of the color. For hexadecimal value, you can Google it. Our is already opened. We will pick a color from that. Take the hexadecimal value and copy paste that in the value of color attribute. Check that color is changed as per our choice. Finally, face attribute of font element. With this, you can change the default font style of web browser. You have to declare the value within double quote and you can declare multiple values. We are going to pass two values, that is Courier New and Arial. Here in our case it will search for the Courier New font. If that found, then that font will display in the browser. If not found, then our second option is Arial font that will display. If both does not match, then the text will display as it was previously. As you can see, Courier New was there in our system, so that font is displayed in the browser. Now we are going to replace the Courier New with ABC as font style, which is not present at all in our system, and our second choice is Arial as it was previously. As you can see, ABC is not found, and next option is Arial, which is present in the system and founded. So that font is displayed. We are reverting back Courier New in place of ABC and save it and refresh the browser. move on to the next element, which is heading element. 6 levels of headings are there with highest value of H1 element and getting smaller and smaller up to H6 element. We are pasting all this in the notepad to save the time and check in the browser the difference of all the headings. Finally, conclude the video with the HR empty tag. It is used to draw a horizontal line. Let's play with its attributes. Size, which is used to determine the thickness of the line, and its value is in pixel. We are setting the value with 7. You can set it as per your choice. If we set the width attribute to 50%, then horizontal line will display 50% of the page. If we maximize the browser, then you can check the horizontal line is covering 50% of the page. It is adjusting automatically with the page margin. We can set the align of the horizontal line to left, right or center. To set it, we have to use align attribute. By default, it is center. Here we are setting the align as left. In noSet attribute, the line is becoming a solid line and it has no values. And finally, like the font element, horizontal line has also color attribute. Here we are passing the value with the color name. That's all from this video. If you like this video, then give like and comment if you have any question. See you in the next lesson where we will discuss about an interesting topic, that is MarQ. Welcome back to the practical session of HTML. In this practical session, we are going to practice about MarQ elements and its attributes. We have already created a HTML file named marq.html and open it with Notepad and in browser. We have set the background color black and heading with the color red. And a new element center is used to set the text in the middle of the page. So, to show the scrolling text, start with declaring MarQ element and we are giving text as this is displaying MarQ text inside MarQ element so that text can be scrolled. As the font default color and background color is black, text is not visible in the web page. For that, we are setting the font color to blue and make the size little bit higher than default value. Then save the file and refresh the browser and our scrolling text is displaying in the browser. Next, we are going to play with the attributes of MarQ element to make the MarQ more attractive. First, we change the background color of MarQ to grey color. For that, we have to use bgcolor attribute and value will be grey. Save the file and refresh the browser to check the new effect. Next, change the direction of MarQ. Now it is moving right to the left. We want to change it from left to the right. For that, we are using direction attribute with value right. Default value is left. Save and refresh it again. And now our direction is changed from left to right. Next attribute is behavior attribute. We are setting the behavior with the value slide. Save the file and after refreshing, check that the text is moving from one side to another and stop. And it is the purpose of the value slide. We are making a copy of MarQ element and paste twice and change the behavior to scroll and alternate. And refresh the browser after saving and see the difference between all these three behaviors. Next we will discuss about scroll behavior, which is here in the second position, which is the default behavior value and it is for moving the text from one side to other side and start again from where it started previously. And last value of behavior attribute is alternate. It is used to move the text from one side to other side, and after touching other side it will bounce back. We are keeping the behavior attribute with alternate value and removing other two marquee elements. Next is to set the height of the marquee area. Use height attribute. Value can be either in pixel or percentage. We are setting the value to 50 and check the browser after saving and refreshing. As you can see, our marquee area height increased. We are correcting the value to 30 to remove the blank space below the text. HSpace attribute is used to set the left and right margin of the marquee area. Here we are giving the value 75 and see in the browser that it is leaving some space in left and right side. Next is loop attribute. It is used to set how many times our marquee text will scroll. Here we are giving the value to 3 and save the file and refresh the browser. Now count that marquee text will scroll for 3 times and stop. If you want to scroll the text as long as the page is open, you can use value either -1 or infinity. We are giving -1 as value. Now check our marquee text will not stop and will run continuously. Next is scroll amount and scroll delay. For that, we are copying the marquee element and paste it again. And set the scroll amount value 100. That means it will move the text 100 pixels each time. And scroll delay to 250, which means it will move the text 4 times per second as its value in milliseconds. Save the file and check in the browser after refreshing. From here you can see the scroll amount text will move faster than scroll delay. My suggestion is if you want to move the text faster, use scroll amount, and for slower, use scroll delay. Next attribute is vspace attribute. It is used for giving space to top and bottom of marquee area. We are setting the value to 30. And for better understanding, copy and paste the heading element below the marquee area. And check in the browser that the page is there. For better clarification, we change the value again to 50. And now closely look into the top and bottom of the marquee area for the change. And finally the last attribute is width, through which we can set the width of the marquee area. Here we are giving the value 10%. It will set the marquee width to 10%. Now we change it to 110%. And it sets the width 110% of the marquee area. That's all about this marquee practical session. Please do subscribe this channel, like and comment. See you in the next lesson. Welcome to the practical session of HTML list element. But before starting the practical session, if you have not subscribed this channel yet, please subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get the update. And watch that video till the end. So start with the practical session. Here we have created a HTML file with basic structure and title given as list item, which is reflecting in the title bar of the web page. To make the text visible for everyone, we are going to increase the font size. So we declare font tag and size is set to 6 and close the font tag. Within font element, we are writing the text example of list item. After that, we start our unordered list by declaring ul tag. And as it was told in the previous lesson, for declaring list item, li element we have to use. So we declare li element and within this element we passed the text unordered list. And for another list item, we again declare li and passed order list as list item and close the li tag. And lastly, close the ul tag. Now save the file and refresh the browser. See, the unordered list items is showing in the browser with bullets. And type of bullets is disk because it is the default type. If we want to change the type of bullets, we have to use the type attribute. Here we are passing the value circle. Save and refresh the browser. And now our bullet in web page is changed to circle from disk. Again we change the value from circle to square. And as you can see in the browser that it is changed with square. Next we will perform order list. We are not removing the unordered list. We copy from example of list item to closing of ul tag and paste it below. We are doing so to show the difference between ordered list and unordered list. Now we change the ul with ol and removing the type attribute of ol. Save the file and refresh the browser again. See the browser, only one difference is there. That is, in order list, it is showing numbers rather than bullets. Numerical digit is the default, which is showing here. We are removing the order list which we have added recently. Next we will show the nested list. We want to show the types of order list and unordered list as a list inside the list. For that, we declare an OL after the first list item, that is unordered list, and we are giving the attribute type with value A. Next we declare the three list items, that is disk, circle and square. After that we close the OL tag. Save the file and refresh the browser. See, in the browser, under unordered list, type of list is showing with order list, and as we mentioned the type with capital A, so it is showing with A, B and C. In the same way, after list item order list, we again declare an OL with type capital A, and under that 1, capital I, capital A and small a written as list items. Then close the OL tag. Now see, in the browser, after saving the file and refreshing the browser, that list is coming under order list also. Now closely look at the browser. Under unordered list, three list item as A, B, C is showing, and again in order list it is starting from A. If we want to start the items of order list from D, what we have to do? Here comes the attribute named start, by which we can specify the starting number of a list item. So here we are going to use the start attribute in the second OL tag because we want its list item to start from D. So our value will be 4. One more time save the file and refresh the browser and check that second OL's list item is starting from D. That's all from this lesson. Hope you guys enjoy the practical session. Please like, comment and share this practical session and subscribe this channel. See you in the next lesson. Hello and welcome to the practical session of HTML image. Before starting, I have created a file image.html which is under HTML folder of desktop, and open the same in browser as well as in notepad, and title given as image, which is reflecting on the title bar of the browser. So we start our practical by changing the background of the document with image. Here we keep our image named html.jpg on the same location where our HTML file exists. So we don't have to pass the full path. To change the background with image, we have to pass the attribute background under body opening tag, and value will be html.jpg. Save the file and refresh the browser, and see in the browser the background is filled with image. Next is image element. To declare image element, we have to use img element and then src attribute, which is mandatory attribute. This time we are taking a image from a different location. We are taking it from D drive and image name is a.jpg. So we have to pass the full path where the file present as values. Here our image is displaying with left alignment, which is the default alignment. Now we are going to change the alignment to right. For that we are using align attribute with value right. Save again and refresh to check the alignment is changed. Next we can increase or decrease the height and width of the image using height and width attribute, and its value will be in pixel. We are setting its value with 300. Now see the picture size is increasing a bit. Next is ALT attribute, by which if the image is not displaying or not loaded, the text we passed as values will display. Here we find no effect. We can do one thing. We are removing the D drive. So it will try to find a.jpg in the location where the image.html present, and as it is not founded, image will not load, and the text given as values of ALT attribute will display. We are reverting back the D drive as it was previously. We will conclude this session with border attribute. It is used to give border to your image. Here we are giving the value with 3. And now check that the image is having a border. So if you find this video helpful, give like, comment and share with your friends. And subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get new notification. Hello and welcome again in the tutorial of HTML table. First of all, I have created a file named table.html and open the file in browser as well as in Notepad. So let's start our practical. Very first thing, we have to know what we want to show in HTML table. Here we want to display our result in HTML, where standard 1 and standard 2 both have 2 students and they have unique enrollment number and their marks in 2 subjects and their grades. Here first 2 students are from standard 1 and last 2 from standard 2. So we have to merge this with their standard, and number obtained for subject 1 and subject 2 we have to merge. Now come to the coding part. In HTML, first we have to declare a table element which will be under body element. In between table element, we have to declare a table row by writing tr opening tag. Under that, we want to give a table heading by writing th opening tag and standard written as content of the heading. After that, we close our th tag. Similarly, we have created the rest of the headings like enrollment number, number obtained for subject 1, number obtained for subject 2 and grade in all separate th elements. After that, we close our tr tag. That indicates that our row is completed. Again we start our second row by writing tr tag, and under that we are giving the table data by writing td element and content given as our source data, that is 1 E001 91 92 and A. We have to write separate td element for each of these data. Again we close our tr tag. Now save it and refresh the browser to check. For third, fourth and fifth row, we copy and paste and change the data shown before. All our data are displaying now. Next we have to design the table. So go to the opening table tag. First we are giving border with value 10. This is to give the table a border. And look in the browser that our table is now having a border. Next we will change the border color with purple. Now we are going to change the table alignment to center from left. As you can see, our table data is still left aligned. We want to make them also center aligned. For that, we mention align equals to center in all table row opening tag. Next is table caption. For that, we declare caption element. Under that, we return result and close the caption tag. It was told in the previous lesson that caption is center aligned at the top of the table. You can change its align by using align attribute. As for our data, first two row is for standard 1 and next two is for standard 2. So we can merge first two standard together and last two together. For that, on first TD data of standard 1 column, we are declaring an attribute named row span with value 2 because we want to merge two rows together. And we don't need on the next row's standard column, so we delete it. Save and refresh to check whether our desired output is coming or not. In the same way, we are doing for standard 2 also. Our next aim is to merge number obtained for subject 1 and number obtained for subject 2 together. For that, we are going to the number obtained for subject 1 heading and use the attribute callSpan. And as we are going to merge the heading for two columns, so we use the value 2 and change the text to number obtained for subject 1 and subject 2. And we delete the headings which is number obtained for subject 2. Now our output is as it is the given data. Next we will see about some of the attributes of table which we discussed in the theory section. That is BG_color attribute, which will change the background color of the table. Here we pass the value yellow. Next is height attribute, which is used to set the height of the table. Here we pass the value 500. Another one is width attribute, which is used to set the width of the table. We pass the value here with 400. Now look at the browser that our table height and width is changed. That's all from this practical session. Hope you guys learn about HTML table. Comment if you have any doubt. I will try my best to clarify your doubts. Please do like and share with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get new update on this course and upcoming topics. Hello and welcome to the practical session of linking elements. I will divide this practical session into two parts. In part 1, I will show how to navigate within the same page using hyperlinks. I have created a HTML file named shopping demo and open the same in browser as well as in Notepad. Let me brief about the Notepad file what I have created. I made a demo of shopping site. In this shopping site, different categories are there like toys, fashion, then a text and then a cool picture about our website. Below that picture, our product according to our categories is displayed. And at the bottom, a text go to top of the page is there. Now I want that if anyone click on toys, then it will navigate to the toys section. And if anyone click on cloth, then it directly go to the fashion section. So we will navigate in the same page. So I use a anchor tag on toys and use href attribute and the value given as has t. Then close the anchor tag. It means that we make the text toys as hyperlink. Now go to the toy section below and here we use the anchor tag with name attribute. Give the value of the name attribute t. Remember one thing that you have to pass the same value in href and name attribute, but in name attribute don't give any hash, just pass the value. After that, at the end of the toy section, close the anchor tag. Now save and refresh the browser and see in the browser that toys at the top of the page is enabled with hyperlink. Now if you click on that toys link, then it will search in the page for the value t, which we mention as href attribute. If found, then it will navigate to that section. Now I am going to link the cloth option and fashion section in the same way we do for toys, but with different keyword. Next is at the bottom of the page, the text go to top of the page. I want that if anyone click on the text, it will go to the top of the page. To do it, I place the text under anchor element and use the href attribute, and I have given the value as shopping site. As it is not a single word, so I keep that within double quote. Then close the anchor tag. Now copy the text shopping site. Then go to the top of the page and here use anchor element with name attribute and value will be the same I have copied earlier. So paste it here. Keep in mind that here also paste it within double quote. Then close the anchor tag. Suppose I have a new section open for my shopping site, that is footwear. So I have created the footwear section and then at the top of the page link to go to that section named footwear is created. Next step is to create the link same as it was shown before. But we have to give a unique identification word. Here F is that unique identification word. You can give any text also. For that, put that text within double quote. Now save and refresh and now your new section is ready. That is the end of that part 1 of linking element. In part 2, I am going to show how to use link to open a new document or web page. So keep watching that video too. And if you like this video, give like, comment and share with your friends. And not to forget to subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get new notification. Hello and welcome to the part 2 of HTML hyperlink practical. Let's come to part 2. If you follow any website, you will find that website is a collection of some web pages. If you click on any link, it will open a new web page. In this video, we will show you how to open a new web page by clicking on a link. For that, I have already created a HTML file named home.html and as usual, open the same in HTML and in Notepad. I want to make a link of all the practical of HTML tutorial we have created before in this web page. If anyone click on that link, it will open that particular practical session. So first, we write the practical 1, practical 2, practical 3 up to practical 7. Then create the link by using anchor element on practical 1 and use the href attribute and value will be the HTML page we want to open. If the targeted file is in another location, then use the full path of that file. For me, file is in the same location, so we pass only the file name with extension. Save the file and refresh the browser. And see, the practical 1 and 2 is enabled with hyperlink. Now click on that link. It will open that particular practical 1 web page. Do the same for the rest of the item. Now our linking to every item is complete. Till now we made hyperlink on text only. Now we are going to implement hyperlink on image. For that we are going to replace the hyperlink text with their respective images. So we use the img element in place of that text. That's all. Now save the file and refresh the browser and check that our text is replaced with image. Now click on that image and it will open that respective practical session. So hopefully you will now be able to implement hyperlink by your own. If you like this video, then give like, comment and share with your friends. And subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get new notification. Think that you have a requirement for your website to design a registration form like this. How to do that? Hello and welcome to HTML form. With the help of form elements, you can insert text box, password field, radio button, drop down list and many more in your HTML page. Before start the designing, first have a look at the picture and understand what are the fields required to design the form. For first name, last name and username, we need text field. For password, we need password field. Let's design the form up to password field for now. First, we create a heading for the text registration form with center alignment. After that, declare form element, and inside form element write first name. Then start the input tag. Then use attribute type, and value of the type is text. Put a comma, though you can skip those commas. After that, use name attribute and give value as per your choice. Then close the angular bracket and close the input tag. Now save and refresh the browser. As you can see, the alignment of the form is left. So cut and paste the center closing tag just before the closing of body tag. Now our form is also center aligned. Now create two text field for last name and username. After that, save and refresh the browser. From the output, it seems that we have to use br tag to move the text field to the next line. Now create a field for the password. We write the same code as we did for the first name with defined value of name attribute. Look at the result. Password is showing after typing. But this should not be like this. We have to hide it. For that, use type value as password rather than text. That's all. Now our password become hidden. We have done up to password field. Now we have to design the gender with options male and female. And between these, only one option can be selected. So let's design it. Like previous one, start input tag followed by type attribute. This time give value of type attribute as radio. Then use name attribute and give name value according to your choice. Here we have to use another attribute named value and give value of this attribute as per your choice. Then close the tag and give value of this radio button. Then close the input tag. Now run it on the browser. Here you can see the male radio button is coming. Now do the same coding for female option. But for this, use different value of value attribute. Now both the option came. You can see out of these options, only one option can be selected. Now if we want that, whenever the page loads, female option will be selected by default. How to do that? Let's see it. To do this, go to coding of female tag and at the end write checked. That's all. Now look at the browser that after the page load, the female option is selected. It's very simple, right? Our next option is address. As we all know that address can contain more than one line, so we can't use text field. To overcome this, we can use text area. See how to implement this. Start a new tag named text area. Then use name attribute and give a value. After that, you can mention how many rows will be visible when the page loads. For that, use rows attribute and give value that you want to show in your web page. Similarly, for columns, use calls attribute and give value accordingly. Then close the tag. Lastly, close the text area tag. Now save and refresh. And check that only 5 rows is visible. And after that, for every new row, a scroll bar came. Our next part of designing is option or drop down list, from where you can select any one of them. When anyone click on that down arrow, a list will come, and from that you can select any one out of it. How to design it? Let's watch. To do it, start select tag, then use name attribute and give value and close the angular bracket. After that, start option tag, and after that write the name you want to add to that drop down list. Use option element until your list is over. Select element is like UL and OL element, where you start defining a list, and option element is like LI element, where you define the list items. After the list is over, close the select tag. Now run it on a browser. Oops, I forgot to close the double quote. There we go. Our drop down list appears. Our next item is checkbox, where you can select more than one options. Check how to design it. Start input tag followed by type attribute, and value of type attribute will be checkbox. Then use name attribute, and then use value attribute. Give a value. Close the angular bracket. Then give a name for the checkbox. Lastly, close the input tag. Check it on browser. Now do this for the rest of the fields, but with different values. There is a difference between checkbox and radio button. That is, in radio, you can select only one value at a time. But for checkbox, you can select multiple values. Our final part of designing is to create a button. To do it, start input tag, then type attribute. Value of type attribute will be submit. Then use value attribute and give submit as value of value attribute. Close the angular bracket and close the input tag. That's it. Your button is created. One more thing, though it is not related to form, if you want to give space to your web page, then use and nbsp colon. I am giving a space after all the name of the field. So here I am using and nbsp colon. I have finished all the designing. Now if you want to put an action about redirecting to another page on the button click, how would you do that? But before that, this is not indicate that we store the data or validate the data. To do this, first create a HTML page where you want to redirect after button click. Here I am already created one named thankyou.html. If you click on the submit button, this page will open. Let's come to the coding part. Go to the form opening tag. Use attribute action and give HTML file name to which you want to redirect to as values. If the file is not in the same location where your existing file presents, then use full path of the file. Now save and refresh your browser. Then click on the submit button and check that another page open on button click. Hope you guys now able to design form in your web page. If you have any doubt, please comment. And if you found this video helpful, then like and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe this channel and press the bell icon. See you guys in the next lesson. Welcome to our last practical session of HTML, that is frame. What is frame and why we use it? Frame is used to divide your web page into rows and columns. And in each rows and columns, you can open separate web pages. Though frames are not supported in HTML5, but we learn it for our knowledge purpose. So before creating frame, we made some web pages. Let's have a look at these web pages. Now we are going to create a HTML file named frame.htm. Open that file in Notepad. Now create the basic structure, that is HTML, head, title, but don't create any body element. Frame does not require any body element. After that, first we want to divide our web page into 3 rows. For that, take an element named frameSet and use an attribute named rows. Because we want to divide the page into 3 rows, so mention 3 values in percentage as values of row attribute, but with commas after each values, like this. After that, close the frameset by using closing frameset tag. We have declared that we are going to divide the web page into 3 rows, but we have not mentioned any web pages. For this, start frame tag, then take src attribute and give value the name of the HTML file you want to display at the top of the page. Here we are going to show the welcome.html file at the top of the frame. As this is in the same location where our frame.html file present, so no need to pass the full path of the file. For the remaining 2 rows, we copy and paste the frame tag. Here, the first frame will cover 20% of the web page area. 60% area will be covered by second frame, and last one will cover 20% area. Now we change the name of the file of second and third one with home.html and footnotes.html. Now save the file and open the frame.html file in browser. Have a look that welcome.html file open at the top of the page and covers 20% of the web page area. Home.html file is at second position and covers 60% web page area. And footnotes.html covers 20% area is at the bottom of the page. Now we want to divide the second row, which covers 60% area, into 2 columns. For this, go after the first frame tag and open another frameset tag. This time use attribute calls and give values as 20% and 80%. We are closing the frameset tag after the second frame tag. Now copy any frame tag and paste it just after the newly created frameset opening tag. Then change the file name from home.html to menu.html. Again save it and refresh the browser. As you can see, our second row is divided into two columns. One is covering 20% area and another one covers 80% area. Now look at the menu web page. Here if we click any item, it will open that page in another tab. We want that after clicking any menu item, the page will load in the second row, second column region. Let's have a look how to do that. Open menu.html file in Notepad. Go to frame.html and go to end of the frame tag containing home.html. As this is the portion where we want to load the web pages after clicking any menu item. Write name, which is an attribute, and give the value as per your choice. Here we are giving the value display area. Save the frame.html file. Copy the value of name attribute, that is display area. Now go to the anchor element of the menu.html file and use target attribute and give the value same as we give earlier in name attribute value, that is display area. So we paste it here. Do the same for the remaining anchor element in menu.html file. After complete, save the menu.html file and refresh the browser. Now click any menu item and check that the same web page is now opening in that area where you want to load it. So guys, hope you now be able to use frame in your web page. Please do subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon to get new notification. And if you find this video helpful, then give like, comment and share. Thank you.